Fans were left in shock when Cardi B collapsed backstage at her Denver show, and the moment quickly went viral. Offset was seen breaking down in tears as he reacted to the terrifying incident, showing just how serious the situation was. In this video, we're going to go through exactly what happened backstage, why Cardi needed urgent help, and how Offset's emotional response has sparked concern across the internet. Cardi B let the world know how difficult it was to perform in Denver by sharing a video using an oxygen tank backstage. The rapper hit the Ball Arena in Denver on March 9th for her Little Miss Drama Tour. This was not a canceled show. This was not a medical emergency that shut the night down. She had an unforgettable, sold-out show that fans raved about online. But what fans initially didn't see was her struggling to breathe because of the city's elevation. The footage came from Cardi herself. An Instagram story posted Monday night shows Cardi B breathing from an oxygen tank during a costume change backstage during her Denver concert at Ball Arena. She was not lying on the floor. She was not unconscious. She said the words while other people appear to lace her up in a red beaded and feathered corset. So she was literally mid-costume change, breathing into an oxygen mask, and still getting ready to go back out on stage for her fans. The caption she put on the Instagram story said it all. Written on top of the video were the words, "Bitch, this air ain't no joke." And in the video itself, "Denver is fucking different, bitches," she said, in an Instagram story video of her backstage gasping for breath, using an oxygen tank. Now here is the thing people need to understand about Denver. Denver sits at a whopping 5,280 feet in elevation, thus its official nickname, the Mile High City. There's 17% less oxygen there than at sea level, with thinner and drier air that is so different than what some people are used to. That is not a small number, 17% less oxygen. Think about that. You are performing on stage, dancing, rapping, running back and forth, engaging a sold-out crowd, and you are doing it all with nearly a fifth less oxygen in every breath you take. Denver, which is notoriously 5,280 feet high in elevation, can cause all sorts of impacts. Whether it's a change in cooking, dry skin, heavy breathing, or even hitting the ball further at Coors Field, the elevation has major impacts for people not used to it. And Cardi B is someone who grew up in the Bronx. She is a New York City person. Sea level is what her lungs know. So landing in Denver and then doing a full concert with choreography and wardrobe changes and crowd interaction, that is a lot for anyone's body. And it was not just the elevation by itself. Performing at higher elevations could be especially tricky for people with asthma, like Cardi B. While preparing for the Little Miss Drama Tour, the 33-year-old rapper openly discussed her asthma in an interview with Billboard. So you have the altitude, and you have someone with asthma, and you have a concert that demands constant physical output. That combination is going to make breathing a challenge for anyone. But what did Cardi do? She finished the show. The Grammy Award-winning artist had just concluded an energetic set before a packed crowd in Colorado when backstage footage surfaced online, showing her briefly using an oxygen mask. She gave the fans everything, and then dealt with the breathing issue backstage between sets. According to eyewitnesses, the rapper appeared exhausted after delivering a high-intensity performance filled with dance routines and crowd engagement. Despite the moment backstage, Cardi B reassured fans that she was fine. This is the actual story. She needed oxygen. She got oxygen. She kept performing. She told the world about it herself in her own way. No collapse, no ambulance, no cancellation. But the internet is the internet, and stories have a way of growing once they leave the source and start bouncing around social media. The phrase "collapses backstage" has power. It paints a picture of someone falling to the ground, of people rushing to help, of chaos. And once that word gets attached to someone's name, the conversation shifts from "she needed an oxygen break" to "she collapsed." That is how the story started spreading. And that is how Offset's name got pulled into it. But before we get to that, we need to talk about what is actually happening on this tour, because the Denver show did not happen in a vacuum. This is part of a much larger picture. The tour commenced on February 11th, 2026 in Palm Desert, California, and will conclude on April 18th of the same year in Atlanta, Georgia, consisting of 35 concerts, 35 shows in a span of about 2 months. That is the kind of schedule that would test anyone. And this is not someone just standing at a microphone. This is Cardi B. In February 2026, Cardi B became the first female rapper in history to sell out 2 consecutive nights at the Kia Forum in Inglewood, California. The performances served as the opening weekend for her Little Miss Drama Tour, featuring a 37-song setlist, an elaborate stage production that included the artist being suspended above the audience, a 37-song setlist, being suspended above the crowd. That is not a casual performance. That is an athletic event wrapped inside a concert. The concerts featured several guest appearances, including performances by Glorilla, Kalani, Tyla, and Blueface. So this is a tour where Cardi is not only performing her own set, but coordinating with other artists, managing transitions, and keeping the energy at a level that matches the names on stage with her. Following the Los Angeles shows, Cardi B continued the tour. With a streak of 5 consecutive sold-out performances across North America, the Little Miss Drama Tour received widespread acclaim from music critics, who lauded the production's ambition, Cardi B's stamina, and the show's theatrical scale. Critics specifically called out her stamina. That word matters here because it tells you the level of physical demand this tour requires. The tour is in support of her second studio album. Cardi B is currently touring the US in support of her latest album, Am I the Drama, which came out last September. The tour kicked off in February, just a couple months after her 4th child was born in early November. Read that again. She gave birth in November 2025, and she was on tour by February 2026. That is roughly 3 months between having a baby and performing in front of sold-out arenas with a 37-song set list, pyrotechnics, floating platforms, and costume changes. The demands on her body during this period are something most people cannot imagine. The tour has not been without its incidents either. Before Denver, there was Las Vegas. While performing her song Thociana at T-Mobile Arena on Friday, February 13th, the 33-year-old rapper fell off a chair mid-routine. The moment was captured by fans in attendance and quickly made its way to social media. Cardi handled it the way she handles most things. The 33-year-old rapper didn't miss a beat when she fell backward off her chair mid-concert while singing Thociana at the T-Mobile Arena in Sin City. In videos circulating online, Cardi stood up, pointed at the chair, and assured the audience that was the government. That joke was not random either. Last week, the Bodak Yellow rapper hurled thinly veiled threats at U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and the Department of Homeland Security while launching her tour in Southern California. So the government quip was a continuation of a running bit she had going with federal agencies on social media. Once the musician caught wind of the fall going viral online, she added on X, "Can someone put a community note on this? This video is clearly AI." That is who Cardi is. She falls off a chair on stage in front of thousands of people, and instead of letting it become a negative story, she turns it into a joke and keeps performing. Same thing happened in Denver. She could not breathe because of the altitude, so she grabbed an oxygen mask, filmed herself, made a comment about the air, and went back out to finish the show. Critics noted that the stage design, which included pyrotechnics and a floating platform, elevated the show beyond a standard rap concert into a fully realized theatrical event. While the majority of reviews were positive, some journalists pointed out minor logistical kinks during the early dates. The kinks were things like the chair fall and the oxygen situation. They were not breakdowns or failures. They were moments in a tour that is built to push limits. Cardi B gets a couple days to catch her breath before the next show on Thursday in Minneapolis. The tour goes on. Denver was one night. The oxygen mask was one moment, but the conversation around it became something bigger because of who Cardi B is and because of the people in her orbit. People like Offset. To understand why Offset's name gets pulled into any conversation about Cardi B's health, you have to understand their history. These two are not strangers who happen to know each other. They share children. They share years. They share a marriage that ended, but, by many accounts, has not fully resolved. The duo's relationship began in early 2017 and has since brought cheating scandals, a secret marriage, kids, Culture Kiari Cephas, Waveset Cephas and Blossom, and some hot collaborative tracks. Cardi and Offset secretly married on September 20th, 2017, before the Migos rapper proposed to her on stage at Power 99's Powerhouse concert in Philadelphia in October that same year. So they got married first, and then the public proposal happened after. That is the kind of thing that makes people pay attention to a relationship. But the marriage was never smooth. Just days after a public appearance, Cardi announced they broke up, after rumors of Offset's infidelity spread across the internet. "I guess we grew out of love, but we're not together anymore," she explained on social media. They got back together. They split. They got back together again. This cycle repeated itself for years. Over the next 4 years, their romance survived a few more rough patches. More cheating rumors, plus a social media squabble between the spouses, before Cardi finally confirmed that they had split once more. "I've been single for a minute now," she said on Instagram Live in December 2023. The rapper, whose real name is Belcalis Almanzar, filed for divorce from fellow rapper Offset in July 2024. After 7 years of marriage, the couple has 3 children together, and the divorce has not yet been finalized. 7 years, 3 children, and a divorce that has dragged on for over a year without resolution. Offset himself has spoken about what went wrong. He told Keke Palmer, I should have respected her way more, you know what I mean? I made bad decisions as a man, like stepping out. Offset, who shares children Culture Wave and Blossom with Cardi, admitted that his infidelity was part of the reason. The money rapper ended their marriage, which he respects. That's why when she left, I had to take that on the chin, he said. I was being selfish, you know what I mean? And I can say that as a man. I'm a grown man. He has also said he is done with the concept of marriage entirely. Offset joined the Full Send podcast on the heels of his Kiari album's arrival, where he explained why he's done with marriage. It's not for me. I've done it, had 3 kids with it. It's like a mission that's been complete, he said. No, I would tell you don't get married, he said. But here is where it gets complicated. Cardi has said she still wants a functional co-parenting relationship. Cardi B said she is hopeful for unity with Offset. I don't know how long that's going to take for him, but that's always been my wish. I get along with everybody that I dated. We all move on. There shouldn't be any animosity. Your life, my life, separate. We should be able to raise kids. We should be able to ask each other questions. We should be able to say, hey, look what one of the kids just did. Look at the report card, she said. That is what she wants. But the divorce itself has been anything but clean. Last year, Cardi B took to social media and legal channels to claim that Offset was intentionally stalling their divorce. She alleged that he was refusing to sign the final paperwork unless she agreed to pay his outstanding tax liabilities. And on the financial side, according to Daily Loud, the rapper filed for spousal support after he claimed she left him with the kids after falling pregnant with her 4th child, her first child with new boyfriend Stefan Diggs, and wants a 70-30 split of their assets. This agreement is far from the traditional custom of a 50-50 split, and it is more common for the wife to receive more in divorce settlements. But in this instance, her net worth is more than double her ex's. The Bodak Yellow rapper is worth over $100 million, whilst the Stir Fry rapper is worth $40 million. So the relationship between Cardi and Offset is not a closed chapter. It is an ongoing legal, financial, and emotional situation that touches everything in both of their lives. While Cardi and Offset have been navigating their divorce, Cardi moved on to a new relationship. Stefan Diggs and Cardi B went public with their relationship back in 2025, and they welcomed their first child together later that year. Cardi B hard launched her relationship with Stefan Diggs in May 2025, when they stepped out at a Knicks basketball game together. But that relationship has also hit turbulence. Cardi B and Stefan Diggs ended their relationship just days before the Patriots played the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. At the game, Cardi made an appearance during Bad Bunny's halftime show, but didn't stay to support Diggs for the end of the game. When it ended, the two unfollowed one another on Instagram. Despite them sticking together through his baby mama scandals, they have seemingly split following the Super Bowl. Reports suggested that Cardi was the one to break up with Stefan following too much drama, so here is the picture as it stands right now. Cardi B is in the middle of a 35-date tour. She recently gave birth to her 4th child. She has just gone through what appears to be a breakup with Stefan Diggs. Her divorce from Offset is still not finalized, and she is performing in cities across North America with a show that critics have called a full theatrical event. That is the context in which the